The CrossFitters had it right, it looks like. In this sense, you're going to see a quick clip from Mind Pump, and they do their breakdown of the findings from this research article. I'll kind of go through the abstract of it so you can kind of see how what the actual testing was done for, how many participants, and so this way you can make your own conclusion. But in short, CrossFitters for short term might have had it right.
When you control for volume, frequency, it makes a big difference. In other words, same total sets, but more often. If you could work out more often, you tend to see better gains. And all of us experience this with ourselves and with our clients. But before this study that came out, there were other studies that showed, 2 days a week is the same as 4, so long as the volume is equated 4. And all of us are like, I get that, but our experience shows otherwise.
Yeah, I've seen the opposite.
Yeah, that more frequent but shorter workouts, because obviously you have to control for total volume. By the way, for if you're not following, total volume would be like the total sets and exercises you did for the week, right? So you could take all those exercises and sets, do them in 2 workouts or do them in 6 workouts or whatever, and it's not equal. Even though it's all the same, the more frequent you work out, typically the better the results tend to be.
3 or more ends up winning. And then recently, just a couple of weeks ago, a study came out that debunked that. And then 2 weeks later, this study comes out that you share with us. So what's true? What was missing in the previous study that said that basically debunked what we had been saying?
Well,
this one now confirms it again.
Right. Well, the problem. So if you're like, I only hit back twice a week and biceps twice a week, no, you're really hitting biceps 4 days a week, right? Because back exercises tend to use quite a bit of biceps, lots of rowing, lots of pull-ups and stuff like that. So this last study that came out was a single joint exercise, no crossover stimulation. It was just curls. And they compared the same total volume of 2 days versus 5 days. And the 5 days crushed the 2 days, even though the volume was all the same.
So this is without even compound lifts, as an isolation.
The results, in my experience with clients and with myself, are always better with more frequent, but again, same total volume.
So total body like styles for short-term gains seem to be better. The abstract for this is kind of going off those previous studies, finding that maximal voluntary eccentric, so slower on the way down, contraction, performed daily 5 times a week for 4 weeks straight, increased the isometric and concentric contraction, torque of the elbow flexors by more than 10%. Present study investigated the effects of 6 maximal voluntary eccentric contractions on the torque and bicep brachialis muscle thickness, because this was just like a bicep curl. So the total amount of people, there's 36 healthy young adults were placed to one of the 3 groups, 12 per group. You have one that performed 1 set of 6 contractions once a week, group that performed 1 set 6 contractions a day for 5 days a week, and the last group that performed 5 sets of 6 contractions a day in a week. The training duration was 4 weeks for all the groups. The results suggest that performing a small number of eccentric contractions 5 days a week is more effective for increasing muscle strength than performing a large volume of eccentric contractions once a week. However, it appears the training volume is a factor for muscle hypertrophy in short-term training. Volume is still king, and once again, this was just showing for eccentric contractions. But yeah, it kind of goes off what most of us should already know, but the consistency is key. So workouts per week, and I say why CrossFitters had it right is because they do a more full body. But the true breakdown for a workout, let's say you're wanting to build strength and muscle out of a similar routine where you can break it up for the most muscle growth. Let's say you do a compound lift, so let's say you're doing bench, you do 3 sets of bench press, and this would be your, let's say, flat bench. You can do barbell, dumbbell, whatever you want. Then because you only have 20 minutes, right, then you do 2 sets of an isolation workout. So since we already did chest, let's do a set of some like lateral shoulder fly. We can just do one of those with dumbbells as well. Let's say you just have dumbbells, and then another set of an isolation movement. So do 2 sets of that. So let's say you feel good, you do 3 compound movements, and then end up having 30 sets a week. So compounds are like your squats, lunges, split stance stuff, your rows, which are like single arm, like your Dorian barbell rows, your deadlifts, Romanian RDLs, your sumo conventional. Your benches would be like your straight, incline, decline benches. Overhead presses are another compound lift, and that's like with barbell or dumbbell. Dips actually are considered compounds, same with chin-ups and hip thrusts, because it does use more of your full body. So upper lower body splits can have growth in the short term, as long as the volume is set for that. So yeah, if you only have 20 minutes a day and that's your excuse that you don't have enough time, it looks like that is enough time, as long as you do that on a daily baby. So you do 20 minutes in between. Let's say it's a Saturday, because that's the most likely day you're probably going to do it. You're washing your car at home, you'd be washing it, and you quickly go do a set of dumbbell flat bench presses, and then you start drying it off or soaping it, letting the soap set in, go play with the kids, do another set of compound lifts, and then dry it, then finish off the set of compounds, and then you just have 2 more isolation lifts. It's something as simple as that. Obviously you'd blend it in with your parenting life if you have kids, but this research shows that it is doable, and it's actually good to show that time is something that can actually still be on our side. So hopefully this little research article helps. I thought it was pretty cool, so I thought I'd bring it up. Plus, a shout out to Mind Pump. Mind Pump's a solid source for information. Their videos are usually like an hour and a half, so it's kind of a lot of information. But I love them because they're up to date on the science and the research, and that's what I try to do. Even if it goes, kind of contradictory, there's always a new study. And this was a micro study, to point out, so it's not a macro study, and longitude worth of the study wasn't that long. It was only 4 weeks, so it could, it'd be cool to see long-term ones, but still, it's something. And if you want to go check it out yourself, you just type in greater effects by performing a small number of eccentric contractions daily than a large number of them once a week. And then published July 31st, 2022. Hope helps, and as always,